Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on June 2nd, 2014 at 18:10 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time. Well, it's getting on into the shank of the evening here. You know, the sun's almost dropping down behind our row of trees. We've had a fair amount of rain here today, throughout the day, but stuff seems to have moved off, at least for now, for a few hours. It's been kind of cool here the bulk of the day, but we're now up to, well, we're up to 75, but it was really down around 68 most of the day, and I didn't even have the door open for a while, you know, I mean, I was, well, you know, this is the first of the month, so that's when I do the prayer list. I always try to do it on the first, but yesterday was Sunday, and I got I got tied up with other matters after I got home from church. And so today I got up and, you know, I checked a few sort of business affairs on the internet, and then I went and did the prayer list, and it always generally takes about a half hour, or an hour and a half rather. So I've set up these smart mailboxes so that anything to do with that comes in there, and I can just go through that for the last month and do the revisions to the master list. And it you know, now that, you know, once I learned to copy and paste here about now January of 2013, you know, you can just sort of boilerplate. A lot of this stuff's boilerplate. You know, you just change the names and the various things. You know, you've got, you know, people having surgery, people who are sick, people, you know, mourning people who have died, people who have chronic illnesses, you know, that sort of thing. And then I have a couple of perorations and collects at the end, and two of which I cut out today just to kind of shorten this thing. I mean, you got, when you print this thing out, see, I do it in 24-point type because some of these people can't really see that well when you get it, and so when you print it out, you know, ideally I'd keep it under 4 pages or less, but inevitably it's around 5 pages, a little over 5 pages. Anyway, I've got that done here for the next month, and then of course there'll be the usual updates throughout the month. I'm glad to do that. It's you know, there are an awful lot of miserable people out there, suffering. I'm so glad I'm not one of them. Thank you, God. Don't mind my neck. That's just me cracking my neck. So after that, then I thought, well, you know, I've got like, you know, 60 YouTube subscription videos to look at that I haven't looked at yet. I thought I'd start going through some of these, and I got through a few of them, but lo and behold, a guy, a buddy of mine, well, he really is a good friend. I shouldn't call him buddy, but we don't see each other very much. We don't talk very much, but when we do talk, we talk. And there's going to be one of those afternoons, and so we talked the better part of the afternoon, but what we were talking about was this, he had bought this shotgun. It's a variant of the Mossberg 500, and this particular thing is called the, oh, daggone it. Well, the particular configuration is called the Zombie Killer. Let me ask, Paul remembers what. Hang on, let's just go see. I can't believe I've forgotten this already. Paul, what might call that gun? Zombie Killer. There was also another name. It was like beginning with a C.
Oh, what the hell is it called?
Well, if you think about it, anyway, this this gun's claim to fame is it's got a pistol grip. Of course, it's an 18.5-inch barrel, you know, to keep it legal, and then it's got some sort of it still has the slide that operates underneath the barrel, but it's got sort of like a giant D-ring that goes over to the actual slide actuator, you know, that you can sort of hold the gun like a pistol and use the top grip as a handle when you're shooting, you know, so you never, it's not like a gun you're going to shoot at eye level. You're sort of at the waist, and of course this is all meant for close-in wet work anyway. And the Zombie Killer version comes with both a laser sight on the side, and then on the other side of the receiver is it's a real mount on top of the receiver, more accurately. A flashlight, you know, a little light, so that essentially you don't have to aim this thing, you just point it at whoever you're shooting at. And most of the time you're going to be using this thing at night when some son of a bitch comes into your house, you know, and you can deal with it. So he was asking me all sorts of things about, you know, how can you get it shipped legally and from out of state and this, that, and I sort of know a little bit about that, but you know, I used to buy a fair number of guns, but I always bought them in state. You know, I never bought anything out of state. And so he took a little bit of advice and went back. You know, basically, so he called me like 4 times over the course of the afternoon, talked about this gun. Well, and another guy we know that was in the process of dying, and yeah, we've known each other a long time. I've known this guy since 1977, so we've shared a lot of drinks and a lot of lies and a lot of fun over the years. So we're both considerably tamer now. So he was telling me about a couple of handymen that had ripped him off. He and his wife own a couple of rental properties. She works for a local bank here in Columbus. He sort of manages the rental properties. And, yeah, I guess this handyman was ripping them off. At least he wasn't stealing all the copper out of the houses. He was just ripping them off. You know, little things, you know. So he had to let the guy go, obviously, you know, as soon as he conclusively proved that he had done this stuff, which he did. So, you know, I got to hear that story, and so it's, you know, it's been good. Paul got home, he brought home a bunch of food, you know, some of which is going to be very good, some of which is going to be horrible, but I'm going to eat it anyway because it tastes good. It's free, huh? Well, it's a wonderful evening. It's been a wonderful day. Well, you know, it was raining, but you know, when you're able to come out, it's a wonderful day. Well, it's still a wonderful day anyway. You know, you can watch the rain. Haven't seen any wildlife. Didn't get any mail, but you know, you never know with this mail. I mean, I didn't get a credit card bill last month that I finally figured out I didn't get, so I paid it just in time yesterday. I pulled up the amount on the actual thing on the webs and copied it and sent that in with a check. So I'm glad I was sort of, you know, I was looking at my checkbook. I said, well, I didn't write that check this month. Well, you don't want to miss a credit card payment because, you know, that Lord knows what they start writing about you. Well, it's a lot of fun. Beats the alternative, doesn't it? Beats dirt napping. Alrighty. Bye-bye, YouTubers.